The 6th generation iPad mini could be in stores within a few months with a bigger screen, but retaining the home button. According to the Japanese technology site Makotakara, Apple has begun production of a new iPad mini model. The big news is that the screen size is to increase from 7.9 inches to 8.4 inches, without increasing the overall size of the device. The other big news is that, although the screen will go almost all the way to the edge of the new model, the home button is said to remain, which suggests that Apple will be choosing to keep Touch ID instead of switching to Face ID. In all probability we will be offered upgraded components such as a faster processor, but it is uncertain whether the new backlight mini LED will make its debut. The 6th generation iPad mini may be launched in the spring, possibly in March. In March it will be 2 years since Apple last updated the iPad mini. Before that, however, there was an even longer gap. Released as part of Apple's March Madness Hardware Week, the 5th Gen 2019 model was the first update to Apple's smallest tablet since September 2015. The iPad mini has always had a fanbase because of its compact size, but following the 2019 update it became the best value iPad currently on the market, being better equipped than the standard iPad and cheaper than the largely identical iPad Air. Apple fans are never satisfied, however, and if you're wondering when the company will release the next iPad mini, and what design changes, new features and tech specs you can expect, you've come to the right place. In this video we analyze all the most interesting and reliable clues pointing to Apple's next mini launch, including the prediction that it could feature a larger screen size, and do our best to speculate about the future of this product. So when will the next iPad mini come out? Is there going to be another iPad mini? Yes, we think so, but it's hard to exactly predict when it will arrive. iPads don't have the reassuringly regular release schedule as of the iPhones, and the mini line is even harder to predict than the rest. Looking at the stats we can see that Apple has released iPad mini 1 in October 2012, iPad mini 2 in October 2013, iPad mini 3 in October 2014, iPad mini 4 in September 2015, and iPad mini 5 in March 2019. The spanner in the works is that a new mini normally gets announced alongside a new version of the Air, but Apple announced a new Air back in September 2020. In fact, Apple also announced a new iPad in September 2020, so the mini was the only iPad left untouched in 2020. So can we expect a new mini soon? Yes, according to a Makotakara report in January 2021. According to Makotakara, Apple has begun production of a new iPad mini model and it may launch the spring, possibly in March. Apple's next event is expected to be scheduled for March 26. Things looked bad for the mini line before the 2019 update, but it's now clear that Apple values its smallest tablet. So what will the new iPad mini look like? Things were kept broadly conservative in the 2019 update to the iPad mini, for obvious reasons. If the Mini and Air had received the radical, home button-free design of the 2018 iPad Pro models, it would have instantly made those very expensive devices less special. Now that the 2020 iPad Air has launched and not only gone full screen with no home button, but actually retained Touch ID, could the iPad mini follow in its footsteps? There are rumors suggesting that the design of the iPad mini will change. That Makotakara report mentioned earlier makes a few suggestions that screen size will increase from 7.9 inches to 8.4 inches, without increasing the overall size of the device. Screen will go almost all the way to the edge of the new model, but the home button will remain, as will Touch ID. Specs-wise, the iPad mini's likely route is gentle incremental improvement, rather than a revolutionary overhaul. Here's what we expect to change. In general, when predicting features for the next iPad mini, it must be kept in mind that Apple will almost always want to roll these out to the Pros first, then trickle them down to the Airs and Minis the following generation. If the mini loses the home button, it is likely that Touch ID will be moved to the side button, as in the case of the iPad Air. It's certainly unlikely that the iPad mini will gain Face ID when the iPad Air didn't. In fact, there remain some doubts about Face ID on iPad, because tablets aren't picked up as much as smartphones. On the larger iPad Pro in particular, you often have to lean forward over the desk to get your mug in the camera's viewfinder. But that'll be far less of an issue with the light, portable iPad mini. Ming-Kai Kuo, an analyst with bags of experience covering Apple and a good reputation for accuracy, predicts that the Mini will jump in screen size from the current 7.9 inches, not just current, in fact, all 5 iPad mini models have had 7.9 inches screens, to somewhere being 8.5 inches and 9 inches. That's comparatively whopping. The Makotakara report we mentioned earlier suggests that the new iPad mini screen size will increase from 7.9 inches to 8.4 inches, without increasing the overall size of the device. That's not quite as big as Kuo's prediction, but it's suitably mini. We'd also like to see True Tone and a liquid retina display, as with the 2020 iPad Air. The Pro tablet's promotion screen tech didn't reach the iPad Air range in 2020, so it is unlikely that it will be added to the iPad mini yet. The iPad Air has an A14 processor, so it would seem fitting that the iPad mini should get that too. It's currently lumbered with an A12 processor though, so an A13 chip would not be a significant leap. We hope to get a better camera on the back of the iPad mini. Currently it's 8 megapixel, while the 2020 iPad Air has a 12 megapixel camera. Even 8 megapixel was a vast improvement in pre-March 2019 when it jumped from 5 megapixel to 8 megapixel. The front-facing camera will surely get an update. Right now this is a measly 1.2 megapixel compared to 7 megapixel on the iPad Air. We suspect that compatibility with the wonderful second-gen Apple Pencil could arrive in this generation as it arrived on the iPad Air back in September 2020. It's likely that the iPad mini will continue to just be compatible with Bluetooth keyboards, unless Apple designs a smart keyboard folio specifically for that smaller device. We may see the iPad mini move from Lightning to USB-C for charging, as was the case with the iPad Air in 2020. Apple may also upgrade the 2019 mini stereo to quad speakers, something that's been offered on the Pro range since 2015. If you liked the video, then make sure to subscribe. Our target is to reach 100 subscribers by the end of January.